Hello, welcome back to Socially Unapologetic. Today we have Hope here. Hope, I always like to start my podcast with a fun little game. So I want to get you in on this before we dive into who you are, what you do, all about the business of entrepreneurship. So I do two truths and one lie, kind of putting you on the spot.
Oh,
If you can think of two truths and a lie, let us know. And then at the end of the episode, I'm going to guess what it is. And then we'll allow that time for the listeners to kind of guess what it is and get to know you a bit.
okay. Two truths and a lie. I have moved 20 times.
Okay.
I have lived with 8 people all at the same time. And I was on stage at Keith Urban.
Nice. Okay. I like this. I always like to start it that way. Then people can kind of get to know you, guess about it when we get talking. But remember those, because then at the end, we're going to circle back and go back.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, how did you get to where you are today, and what did that journey kind of look like for you, and kind of let us get to know a little bit about you and how you got to your present day today.
Okay, so basically, I got to where I am because of what I've experienced in my life. There was a time when I was so fearful to do anything. I let the worry of what other people thought get in the way of doing anything. And I was in horrible relationships that really kept me small and basically made me forget who I was. So, not to sound so sad, but I just got so sick of living that way, of living this life where I forgot who I was and wasn't doing the things that I wanted to do, working myself to the bone at jobs that were not fulfilling me. That one day I had a complete meltdown, panic attack, to the point where my roommate at the time thought my dad had died because I was
Oh my
so
God.
hysterical. And
Yeah.
it was all because my life just felt so trapped and so sheltered and just like I couldn't do anything. I was so stuck. So in that moment, I made a choice that that was the last time I would ever feel that way. And then from
Mm-hmm.
there, I started going into doing things that I had always wanted to do. I started traveling. And when I was traveling, it opened up my eyes to all of these things that other people in the world were doing who were not scared to take a chance on themselves, to start their own business, to start their own podcast. And traveling gave me that gift because watching other people that are so motivated and so inspired to be around people that wanted to like work on Broadway, like they had really big dreams, it gave me the permission to be like, okay, I can have big dreams also. So traveling was definitely like the best part of my
Yeah.
life this far because I also was able to get alone in that moment and really think for myself and remove myself from everybody that knew me. So I was less worried about the judgment because these people didn't know who I was. Once I did that, I came home after traveling and I just decided I'm going to start a podcast. And then the podcast has been very successful. I have people reaching out all the time telling me that they just feel very inspired, connected, or that they resonate to my message about what I've been through, about feeling
Mm-hmm.
stuck, about feeling caged in their own life and wanting to know how to free themselves. So that kind of went hand in hand with me now becoming a mindset and manifestation mentor because I know what it's like. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like the best gift I can give back is to help people get themselves out of that situation that I was in because I never want anyone to live that way.
Yeah. No, that's so fair. And when I was doing a little bit of research on you, I saw that you were on a reality TV show. So do you want to talk a bit about that and how you kind of did that? And like, was that something you like, was that a way for you to get yourself out of your comfort zone, or where did that kind of come from for you?
Absolutely. It was definitely like something very scary that I did. It's not for the faint of heart to sign up a reality TV show in any capacity, let alone like a relationship dating reality TV show because you have to be very vulnerable and you have to put yourself out there in a way to meet somebody because you have such a short amount of time with the people that you're meeting. I seen that as an opportunity and I just did not hesitate to take it because I had wanted to do it, and I truthfully felt like maybe the guy that I was dating on the show would be a good match. I will say one thing for anyone that's considering going on a reality dating TV show, it will not change your life. A lot of people in that situation go on TV because they believe it's going to change their life. Maybe if you're on The Bachelor, it could, but Canadian TV is just not it. So it's not
Yeah.
going to change your life. And I think Jim Carrey even said that in one of his like quotes. It's like, I just wish everyone could see that like fame isn't the answer. It's not going to change your life. And like, it's not. It really, I'm not famous by any means, but just being on TV did not change my life the way I thought it would, but it did give me more of a chance to really trust myself and know who I am and show up as authentically as I possibly could. And I do feel good about that. Yeah, I had always wanted to do it, and the opportunity just came, so I took it. And that's another thing I will say. If there is an opportunity that comes and you want to take it, just do it, even if you're scared.
Yeah, no, I love that so much. And your podcast, it's Keep You Wild, right? That's the name of it.
Yeah, it's called I'll Keep You Wild because of the whole situation where I felt trapped in my life and I didn't want anyone to feel that way. So I'm like, I'll keep you wild.
I love that. And like
Yeah.
that, so that name originated from that experience. And can you like tell us a little bit about like what your podcast, like when you first started it, has it always been that same messaging, or how has it kind of evolved over the time that you've done it?
Yeah, it has been pretty much the same messaging from the beginning. It's evolved a bit because I actually have quite a large male audience. So, because I have brothers and stuff, and like I have a great relationship with the men in my life, I thought it was very important to incorporate some of like men's mental health from like a female perspective also, because I feel like they lack support, especially there's so many people that talk negatively about like relationships, for example. Like there's no good men and they're, you know, men are trash, yada yada. But then I'm surrounded by all these great men in my life. So I don't really have that experience. So it has evolved a little bit that way, of more of a vast audience. But as far as the title, I'll Keep You Wild, it's really deep for me. It like is not a surface level title because I want people to free themselves from the cage they feel trapped in. And living a wild, big, beautiful life is possible for everybody. I just don't think that they can see past their perspective of where they're at. So the goal is to give them the tools and kind of be a voice of what I wish I had when I was in that situation.
No, I love that. I feel like I can resonate a lot with that because I think back to like when I started my business, just like having no support and having nowhere to turn to. And that's kind of why I wanted to start this podcast, so people can hear everybody's stories, and everybody has their own story. And it's kind of like how people got out of that setback, right? Or that like that time in their life, and how they kind of transformed it and looked at the positive instead of looking at the negative, which I feel it's very easy for us to always dive into the negatives of situations.
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody has a voice and a story, and you know, even if you're helping one person, that matters. Like if someone can hear your voice and take something from it, then that's, you know, the goal is accomplished.
Yeah. For business owners that are currently in a setback, what is like some advice you could kind of give to them, or like say to them that they're kind of feeling like, I don't know where to go, right?
I think setbacks, if you can view them as setups for the best possible outcome, that's a great way to shift your mindset. If you're in a setback, just think of it as a setup. I truly think that when we're in a setback, it gives us the ability to look at what we can improve for the better, and also look inward and see how maybe we're forcing something in our lives that's not working. So if we can take a step back in the setback and really like look deep at all of the obstacles that are taking place and then try to unpack why maybe those obstacles are happening, and then use that as a setup for where it's going, because I totally think that everyone can improve always. Like it's a journey. There's no finish line. And if you're in a setback, you have to think for yourself, like, is this something that is so important to me, that I love in my soul, that no matter the setbacks, I'm going to keep going because this is so important to me, and I deserve to see what happens if I don't quit. I deserve to see what happens if I find a different way and if I can grow from this. Or is this not serving me? Am I doing this for the wrong reasons? I think those setbacks are a great time to reflect, to see if your business is actually something that you want. I owned a donut business, and I'm in the process of selling it, possibly, but that was a business that I absolutely loved and was like birthed from my love of cooking. I put my heart and soul into that. But then it did get to a point where all of these things were happening, all of these like setbacks. It's hard to run a business by yourself. And I just didn't feel
100%.
purposeful in it anymore. And I was drained and I stopped enjoying cooking. And so I really had to think back, like, if I get rid of this business, am I failing? Or, I was met with those kind of like thoughts. So that was a little bit hard to navigate. But then at the end of the day, as soon as I released that, I just like a weight had been lifted. And it was because I was not meant to be in that business anymore.
No, that's so true. And sometimes people think of that like with that failure, right? Like you mentioned, they feel that failure, but it's like taking those thoughts and taking that failure and being like, but how can I be better? Like there's something else that's waiting for you. There's something else that you can fully fill your cup in, right? And that was not filling your cup. What do you think are some ways that like you now fill your cup, or like that you do things that make you happy? What are some things that like when you're in those negative headspaces or you're down and you don't really know what the next step is, what are some things that you do personally to kind of fill your cup back up?
I have like my non-negotiables, aka the things that I do first thing in the morning for me. Things that I do to fill my cup are to start my day positively with reading and with waking up to a meditation. I know this is not for everyone. I'm not saying it is. That's just how I personally start my day, to fill my cup first. Because if I'm not filling my cup first, I'll go off the rails and you will not want to be around me. I definitely think time in nature, going on a walk, is the best thing anyone can do for their mental health. Like, put their phone down. I love walking to fill my own cup. And really just like a bath. I love a bath to fill my cup. There's so many different things I do to fill my cup, and it pays to make a list of things that make you feel good. Because once you start writing a list of things that make you feel good, you can actually see there's so many things that make you feel good. Having a cup of coffee in the morning, or like with a friend, and calling my grandma. There's an extensive list of things that I do to fill my cup, but I think it starts in the morning for me. When I wake up, it's like, what am I going to do first for me before I grab my phone, before I hop on a call, before I go to work?
No, that's fair. I feel like that's so true. And I see that a lot with a lot of clients that I work with, especially like moms and parents and people that are like, they have a million other people to take care of and they always forget about themselves. But it's like then they're in these constant ruts with being a business owner because you're trying to do everything. You're trying to wear every single hat. And I just like step back and I'm like, but what did you do for you today? Like I always think about that at the end of my day. I'm like the queen of lists and I put everything in my notes and I'm like clicking things off when I get it done. But I like sit back and I'm like, but what did I do for me? And if I feel that like failure, I feel like I didn't do enough, I reflect on kind of like going back and be like, but I did this, this, and this, and those things made me happy. So that's kind of how I navigate my day. So I love that you said that too. And I'm a big get out in nature, work out, do something that just like boosts my serotonin, because then I'm a way better person.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that it's important to do that too, to show your kids that you're going to put yourself first, and that not everyone can just take from you.
No, that's so true. So what's one hard pill or like a hard truth you see or hear entrepreneurs talk about or struggle with that you kind of like just in your experience? If you had to narrow down to like one or two, I know there's probably a lot. Or something that they like come to you for, or like that your clients that you've kind of seen more a common struggle.
I think there's like a huge worthiness issue with the
Mhm.
way that people are operating their business, with they don't feel worthy of achieving what it is they want to achieve. They don't feel deserving of the money that they want to make in their business. They don't feel like they're the person that can even start a business. They don't feel worthy of being around other business owners making insane money. They don't feel worthy of time off. Like, I think there is a huge
Mhm.
worthiness issue with
Yeah.
pretty much, it's not, it goes further than just obviously business owners, but business owners do struggle with a worthiness issue for sure. And that kind of just goes to show that if you are wanting to start a business, if you're wanting to do something by yourself, all those people in business that are currently doing what it is that you want to do are probably met with some kind of limiting belief around thinking that they're worthy or not of being in a business, of having a business, of making money in a business, of having friends and mentors around them, of positive people. So I think that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing that I would notice.
And I feel like we see that a lot on social media, especially like with people have this imposter syndrome, right? And they see all these other people being so successful and posting about like, oh, this is how much money I made this month, or this is what I'm doing. Oh, I'm traveling the world and still making money while not having to open my laptop. And we see these like huge expectations almost, and people kind of get so scared and limited, and they're like, oh my God, I only have 100 followers, or I'm not where my competitors are in a sense. But it's like everybody has their own journey, and shutting off. And this is coming from somebody that works in social media. So like almost like shutting off that side of social media. Like you cannot believe everything you see on social media. I could literally take a picture of myself and be like, oh my God, I'm so happy today. And inside I'm literally struggling and my business is like at the lowest it's been, and nobody would know that because you're not speaking about it. And that authenticity I feel is lacking almost in that social
Mm-hmm.
media. Like every business owner has bad days. Every person in general has bad days. And sometimes on social media we're just seen with this like camera lens of everything's good, everybody's happy, we're all making money. And it's intimidating for business owners because when they do hit those obstacles, they're kind of just like, what the heck? Am I the only person that's dealing with this? Like they don't have somewhere to turn to.
Yeah, and I love that you touched on the money part, because I am actually so sick of seeing people like, I made 7 figures in 3 days. It's like, okay, like, but there's more to it than the money. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's fucking awesome if you can make 7 figures in a month or whatever it is. Like, good for you. I'm all for it. Like, there's enough to go around. But the marketing behind that, and like just seeing that overflow on Instagram of people just talking about money, it's actually
Mhm.
getting like, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. It just like boils my blood a little bit, because I'm like, but why are you in business? Because if you're
Yeah.
just making money, then like there's no purpose behind what you're doing. And
Mhm.
I think that people are using that as kind of a way to trigger people, to get them to feel like they want to make more money, and it's not actually going to help them make more money, if that makes sense. So I'm like so sick of seeing those posts. I'm just like, can I see something different, please?
I know, and it's just like it puts this like thought in business owners' heads that like if you aren't making this certain amount of money, then like you're not going to succeed, you're not good enough, and it goes all ties back into you saying that worthiness. And then people get so just like scared, and they're like, "Hey, well, I'm just going to stop because I'm not even close to 7 figures." And it's like, well, no, reality check. As a business owner, we literally have 9 million things that we have to pay for, and it's not our money. Like it's like, okay, yeah, maybe you make 7 figures, but like at the end of the day, what are you taking home as that individual business owner? Like it's just, I hate that. I hate it. I just want everybody to be real on Instagram, like, or social media in general. Like, stop, like, show those struggles, show that and money's not everything. And I hate that too. Like, I hate that everybody's like,
Yeah.
money, money, money. Everything's money driven. And it's just like, no, people want to know who's behind the brand, what's the brand story, the brand messaging. Like, people's stories, I think, are why I at least follow somebody. I'm like, I respect that. I respect that people struggled and then they hustled to get where they are rather than just being handed everything and just like, oh, money, money, money. Yeah. So I feel like people really, with the money aspect, it just gets so caught up. So I love that you kind of touched on that, because money is such a big trigger in business and it really deters people. So yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Money,
totally.
money, money, money and business owners. So we talked about ways that you kind of fill your cup up. So what are some ways, maybe of advice, that you can give like a business owner to fill their cup up, that kind of they just feel like they're navigating? Like you mentioned, you like to hike and meditate, and you kind of focus on that manifestation and meditation. So do you want to kind of touch on that a little bit?
On manifestation and meditation?
Yeah, maybe for somebody that's like, they don't really know where to kind of start.
To begin, I would just, if you're going to take the meditation route, I love Insight Timer. There's lots of free meditations on there. Just do a 5-minute one and like notice how you feel after. To fill your cup, I think you have to also listen to your heart and your soul and what you actually want to do. What's going to make you feel good? That's why I would suggest writing that list of things that make you feel good, and don't stop until you actually don't have any ideas, because I think you'd be surprised to know that there are a million things that are going to make you feel good.
I love that. All right, let's go back to the beginning of the podcast where we talked about the 2 truths and 1 lie. So do you want to restate what the 2 truths are and 1 lie, and then I will guess?
I have moved 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
I have lived with 6 people at one time, and I have been on stage with Keith Urban.
I feel like the moving 20 times. It's been less or more?
No, it's true.
Oh, that's
unfortunately.
Wow. Okay, what's one?
And I'm moving
lie?
Again at the end of the month. So
oh my gosh.
Add number 21. I've moved a lot in my life.
So then the lie was which one?
Keith Urban.
Keith Urban? Wow.
I don't even know how I came up with that. But anyways.
I am a big country music fan, so I honestly was hoping that that one is true.
Oh, I wish too. That'd be awesome. But
no, that's amazing. Hope, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate you, and I hope you had a good time, and I hope that our listeners really gained some value with chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brooke. It was great to talk to you.